Thanks for taking the time to view our AllTrips Sustainability Report taken from our Uncommon Sense final presentation in April of 2011. What does AllTrips do? Well, we build online travel planning guides for over 30 destinations in the U.S. We focus on national park areas and outdoor recreation destinations. We work on area content, ad-driven sales, search engine rankings, and click data. Each website bears a similar tagline, all, before the area name. All Yellowstone Park, All Jackson Hole, and All Big Sky are just a couple of examples. Here's a sample of the alljacksonhole.com site. Who is AllTrips and where are we? We're a 12-person tight-knit company. The majority of our employees are based in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, also spread across Bozeman, Montana, Victor, Idaho, Star Valley, Wyoming, Portland, Maine, and on the road wherever we may be. We began over 15 years ago as a travel guide for the Jackson Hole, Grand Teton, and Yellowstone area known as Jackson Hole Net. In recent years, we've changed our name to Vertical Media, and most recently you know us as AllTrips. We do have a central office in Jackson, but the majority of our employees work from home offices or virtually on the road. Travel isn't just our business, it's what we do. When we joined Yellowstone Business Partnership and the Uncommon Sense program, we wanted to learn from like-minded businesses. We do have the ability to reach over 6 million people each year from our websites alone, but we needed the right message to reach them in terms of sustainable practices and ecotourism. So we wanted to lead by example, to be inspired, educated, and informed, but also to be inspiring, educational, informative when people were looking for information on sustainable and ecotourism. In the Uncommon Sense program, we went over 8 separate modules, taking a look at our business practices and where we could make changes. The first module was leading the way. We had to set up an internal work group, which began as 1 employee and grew into 2, but then grew into the entire team. We figured that if the changes that we were about to make were going to affect everyone, they needed to involve everyone and have everyone's input and support. As a group, we decided to look beyond analyzing our Jackson office and look at each home office where the impact really took place. In surveying all of our 12 employees, everyone was on board initially. Some concerns that were brought up were if the changes would affect just us, if they would affect our clients, how they would affect our visitors, would they affect everybody? What was the time commitment that we were going to have to put into these changes? But we all decided that sustainable changes did need to be a priority in this business module. In the process of making the changes, we were converting our name from Vertical Media to AllTrips, and we were in need of a new mission statement. And what did we need this vision to say about us? We wanted to include some core values: dependable, valuable, human, informative, resourceful. Sustainable was also one that we were referenced over and over. To us, it meant that we believe in healthy growth that protects and replenishes ourselves, our communities, and the planet. And what did we come up with? We empower you to discover, enjoy, and protect the places we love. In setting up an internal communication strategy, we currently use a program called Basecamp, and we use it daily to manage our projects, our tasks, due dates, future goals. So we set up a project called Greenify to encompass all of our sustainable changes, our future goals, and the coursework that we were working on. We assigned 1 or 2 employees to each module based on what interested them and what work that they could contribute to it. We set up task work, due dates, ideas, and resources for each module and employee. Here's a look at how Basecamp was set up. Under each module, we set up a resource, we set up task work, we also set up end goals. You can't see it in this example, but we set up future goals, and we will continue to work on these future goals as the years progress. AllTrips wants to be a leader in sustainable business, and we do want to lead by example. So in order to do this, we needed to set goals of communication. Communicating with our visitors, with our clients, and with each other, but also offering our help and resources to anyone who wants to learn. This quote really amplified exactly what the message was that we wanted to get across. If future generations are to remember us with gratitude rather than contempt, we must leave them more than the miracles of technology. We must leave them a glimpse of the world as it was in the beginning, not just after we got through with it. In Module 2, we took a look at our waste stream. E-waste and paper use were our biggest hurdles. And e-waste was obvious. We're a web-based business. But paper use was a really tough one to handle because we are web-based. What do we need paper for? Our Jackson office is easy to manage, and we made the decision to not only look at the waste stream in the Jackson office and in our home offices, but to look beyond just us, to look at what affects our visitors and what do our visitors affect? What areas do they affect? So we looked at the resources that were available in the Yellowstone community. We looked at Livingston, West Yellowstone, Cody, Big Sky, Gardner, Yellowstone, anything that was outside of our home bases of where each employee lived. What did we come up with? 6 pages of resources. Recycling facilities and community leaders and online guides that could help when our visitors were traveling. Where could they recycle? Our clients, where could they recycle? We hope to post these to our websites not only for our travelers but for our clients as well. Overall, our waste stream consisted of paper, newspaper, glass and plastic bottles, magazines, and cardboard. We knew we needed to reduce first and then recycle. In 2010, we recycled 50 pounds of e-waste from our central office alone. They were old printers and cords, computers, and small electronics that we'd been holding on to because we wanted to make sure that they got to the right facility. We worked with the Jackson Hole Community Recycling Center and paid about 50 cents a pound to send it to a facility in Colorado where our e-waste can be recycled and repurposed correctly. We also looked at what was going directly into the landfill. Cutlery in our office, water cups for our water machine. In the end, we divert about 85% of our waste from a landfill annually. And in 2011, our goal is to make that 90%. So we set in place a waste management policy to reach that 90% goal. We cut out materials like cutlery, water cups, and sticky notes, and we went to reusable forks and spoons and knives and reusable water glasses. We set up goals for e-waste recycling not only in our office but in our home offices, and we've also reached out to the community to let them know that we will help them as well. Some areas that we wanted to reduce waste and cut back on waste altogether: office supplies and paper were really our areas that we needed to take a deeper look at. So we posted each of these policies next to the recycle bins, and we have also posted them to several areas where our employees have access to them, where they can reference them. We set out boxes for goose paper, good on one side paper, and regular paper, so that we can take a look at what area is being used and utilized and what we can cut back on. And here's some of our office waste stream and purchasing improvements. In Module 3, we took a look at our purchasing. We made a tracking matrix to monitor all of the office purchases. And we also put in place an environmentally preferable purchasing policy. This sets regulations for purchases not only in the Jackson office but in each home office. Things like pens and notepads, sticky notes, printer cartridges, can they be recycled? Where can they be recycled? Do we really need these? And are we choosing the right supplier? In our purchasing guidelines, we set out questions to ask yourself when making a purchase. Do we really need it? What's the quality of the item? Not only the cost to you and to the company, but what's the cost to the environment? And we also decided to take our purchases a step further. We have continued to compare products every 6 months. We add 2 new products to our list, and we compare with 3 separate vendors to find out which has the least amount of carbon footprint, the least impact on the environment, and cost effectiveness. We also contacted 4 businesses, 2 large and 2 small, and worked with them to change their policies, and also so they could work with us in terms of our purchasing policy. We asked each of our employees to sign a plastics pledge to take the initiative to cut back on single-use plastics, packaging, silverware, things that are going directly into a landfill that we could avoid altogether. Our goal is to cut back on office plastics in 2011 by 15%. In Module 4, we took on the task of social and community investments. Inside the organization, we wanted to strengthen, enrich, and enhance our AllTrips relationships with each other. We want to spend more time with each other, and we want to keep an open mind to change, encouraging creativity and adventure. Outside of the organization, we want to share with others our enthusiasm and our respect, not only for traveling and exploring the places we love, but educating and how to use our resources wisely for years to come. When we looked inside the walls, we needed to know what was happening inside our company, and we decided that we needed to interact with each other more. While we do work from home offices, we need that stimulation from each other, and we need to feed off of our team energy. So we set goals in 2011 to have a little more togetherness, camping, voice meetings, quality time. We also created an internal blog spot where we could share our humors and our jokes and our personality. Also encourage sustainable change with resources that each one of us finds. We're always sending around emails full of links, but this was also a place where we could post all of this into one central location. Outside the walls, we really wanted to reach out to our visitors further than what we already did, and we wanted to reach them through specific categories in our sites and resources, good information and eco tips. So we are currently coming up with area-specific content on what our visitors need to know, and this will be ever-changing. We will set goals annually and quarterly to change the information so that it's relevant to who's traveling. We also wanted to do a little more volunteering. Currently, we volunteer 1 group day a year, and we want to change this to 1 group day and 1 personal day. We want our efforts to reach organizations that affect us and that affect our visitors. We're working with Friends of Pathways in Jackson Hole on the trail systems. We're working with park groups, with the transportation groups around the area on how to put together a transportation system inside of Yellowstone National Park. In 2011, it'll be our 4th year volunteering for the Western Center for Historic Preservation at the Whitegrass Ranch and the original RBC Ranch. You can find out more information on our alltrips.com page. But we wanted to help out a major group in a major way. So it's not just a side project, it's a personal project for us. LINX is a group connected to the Yellowstone Business Partnership that is putting together a transportation system around, with all the providers around Yellowstone National Park, and eventually working towards one single transportation initiative within Yellowstone National Park. And what was the best way to give back to LINX? Our resources and our site traffic. Once their website is live and user-friendly, we have an article in place explaining the purpose and usefulness of LINX and their partners. We have a sample itinerary where a traveler can put together a trip based on navigating Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Parks using LINX and the bus system. We have an ad campaign that will link back to the LINX website so you can find direct information. And this information is going to appear on all regional Yellowstone websites. AllYellowstonePark.com, All Grand Teton, All West Yellowstone, Cody, Jackson Hole, Big Sky, Bozeman, everybody that is participating or has an impact on Yellowstone will have these links in their website. And what does that mean for LINX? It's a free ad campaign that we're donating around the Yellowstone region. We hope to reach over 4 million visitors each year in the Yellowstone region, and specifically between 5,000 and 10,000 visitors looking for transportation. So with the LINX information directly in front of the site visitor, we want to drive the traffic back to the LINX page. We want to expose links to our visitors before they arrive and while they're planning. In this case, we have the potential of converting up to 500 riders a year or a season to the LINX program versus renting their own vehicles. In modules 5 and 6, we took a look at water and energy efficiency. In 2010, our AllTrips employees used an average of 13,847 pounds of emissions. An average person uses about 20,000 pounds in a year. So AllTrips employees use about 30% less per year than an average person in emissions. So we audited each home and mobile offices. We audited our Jackson office as best as we could. We took readings of energy use, light use, water use, inside and outside. We found a spreadsheet on the EPA website. It was easy to fill out. We could put in how many people were living in a household, how many cars were available in that household. We could plug in our monthly readings, energy-wise and water-wise, and come up with some numbers to compare ourselves to the average use. We monitor individual and in-office goals. We have set goals to reduce energy for each employee by 10% in 2011, and we plan to review the goal progress in July and January of each year. July will be a midway point where we look at that goal and see if we need to adjust it all, and in January review all of the goal's progress and if it was successful or unsuccessful and how we need to approach it in the upcoming year. Some measurable goals from some of our employees. We want to cut our Jackson Hole office energy by 15% in 2011. We plan on reviewing this monthly by unplugging dead energy. We have a kilowatt meter reading. We want to turn off lights and unplug most of our large electronics on the weekends. We want to cut home energy for each employee by 10% in 2011. Again, this will be reviewed monthly by that employee and quarterly or twice a year with a project leader. We want to cut water use by 10% in 2011. This will be reviewed monthly. We can recycle rainwater, reduce lawn watering, cut down on shower times. Some employees said that they will replace at least one set of doors or windows in a home. Some employees are running quarterly kilowatt tests. Most employees have set their heat at 5 degrees lower in winter months, and they'll monitor the energy savings from that. So the downsides of being web-based. We have a carbon footprint that includes servers, and currently we're on about 6 shared servers and 2 dedicated servers for our entire company. What's a shared server versus a dedicated server? Shared server takes advantage of pairing one company with another company or several other companies to reduce the amount of wasted energy while that server is running. One server may be on different time zones, and that company can take advantage of the off hours of another company in a different time zone. A dedicated server is run specifically just for your company. There's not a whole lot we can do about that because we do need those 2 dedicated servers for all of our information. We switched to programs that already take advantage of server sharing to offset a little bit of our impact, and we're currently looking at ways to offset our footprint with servers through solar energy credits. This is a bit of an interesting topic because you have to find the right amount of energy that a server is putting out, and it's hard to measure at this point. A tip on computers: if every computer was Energy Star approved, we would save over $1.5 billion a year. We'd save emissions equivalent to taking 2 million cars off the road. In Module 7, we looked at transportation. While we don't encourage commuting daily, we want our employees to work at home. We only have 2 employees that commute daily to our office. They're sales employees, and they meet clients and hold client meetings, and they need to be in the office. But our other employees can work from home, cutting back on that one-person, one-way travel. In a Overall evaluation, a round-trip commute from Alpine saves about 5 gallons daily, and from Victor about 3 gallons daily. Over the course of a year, that's over 100 gallons of gas per vehicle by letting them work from home. We do monitor our sales team travel and our non-sales team travel separately. We have a policy in place for our sales team travel when they do rental cars, when they travel to destinations outside of our immediate area, maintenance on their cars, and any type of air travel or one-person travel. We do take advantage of GoToMeeting to save carbon and one-person trips. And our sales team plans multiple meetings in a 3-day span per sales trip to an outside area. This saves on having to return several times. Some of the incentives that we have put in place in our transportation efforts, we have a tracking system in place where we want to award the person with the most alternative travel mileage. The employee will get a $25 gift certificate to a restaurant of their choice per month based on the person with the most alternative travel miles. This can include biking, walking, public transportation, and telecommuting. It can be for errands, for work-related travel, just about anything. We just want to keep track of it and promote the positive behavior. We also offer cruiser bikes in our town office for any kind of errands, from running to the post office to the bank to grabbing something for lunch versus getting in your car and driving and coming right back. In making a change in transportation, we made a public transportation topic on all of our transportation pages. If it's available, it's there. You can see this in areas such as Bozeman and Big Sky, Jackson, all of our Colorado areas. There's a bus system, so we want to advertise it. We've added info on Green Gears and Friends of Pathways to our bike pages. We will continue to add biking maps and pathway maps and bike rental information in all of our locations. We want to work on adding bike distances for main attractions. This was set for July 2011. It looks like it's going to be a 2012 goal, but we want to measure the distance from, say, the town square to the National Wildlife Museum in Jackson Hole. There's a pathway that you can take to get there, and it takes a shorter time than getting in your car, driving out there, finding a parking space, and coming back than it does to hop on a bike and ride on the trails. We also are adding LINX routes in 2011. This again is dependent on their website, but we hope to have this in place by summer 2011. In the final module, Module 8, Response to Climate Change, we set goals for the future in relation to data and communication, people, and operations. Our major goal for the company was to reduce our energy waste by 15% in 2011. We also set department goals to work together as a team to accomplish. One was to incentivize paperless billing by the end of 2011. We have over 700 clients, and we would like to see 85% paperless by July 2012. We're developing a Green Leaf program. This will be in place by September 2011. It has a set of guidelines and requirements that lodging and activity-based clients can adhere to, and once they meet those set of guidelines, a specific set amount of guidelines, then they will get a free ad, and they'll have a leaf logo next to their name where visitors on the sites can choose them out of a list of other businesses because of their commitment to sustainability. We also are working on setting up eco-travel packages. This should be done again early 2012. We'll have a travel package for each area per season with our Greenleaf vendors. Some hard data for AllTrips. At least 85% of our waste was diverted from a landfill in 2010. We are going to have this up to 90% in 2011. We do help over 6 million visitors plan their vacation without the use of a single paper brochure each year. In 2011, we've already helped over 1 million site visitors, and this stat is current as of May 2011. We've decreased our office energy bills in the last 6 months, a total savings of $342. We'll continue to monitor this over the next few months and the next few years. We recycle over 50 pounds of e-waste correctly, and we continue to do this as a policy has been put in place. We have saved $300 in 2010 by buying locally and cutting out unnecessary supplies. We've saved over 2,000 gallons of gas in the last year by allowing our employees to work from home. And our employees use over 30% less emissions than the average person in a single year. Thanks again for taking the time to view our presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at alltrips.com.